Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of In Between the Sticks. I'm here joined by my usual co-hosts KP and Roller. This week, we got training camp started. First couple of days here. Today actually was the first, fan-hosted practice in the stadium. So we got to see a lot of cool clips and stories that came out about that. How are y'all feeling? What clips did y'all like? Who did y'all like watching? All that.
Yeah, I think it's always an interesting experience because it's like you can't expect too much just because obviously you don't want to. That's one of those things where fans are going to come in and use their phones and do different things and put out. So the coaches aren't, and they're not going to in the preseason either, but they're not going to show you their hand too much. But it is cool to go ahead and see the kind of support that's rallying behind the team already and just kind of where the energy is at. I think I heard there was somewhere around 10 or 11,000 people there today. I'm sure there was a limit, but that's probably about what they would allow. So that's pretty cool. And then as far as the clips, man, the smallest things to me were the biggest things. Like when you're pulling up clips and you see, pre-snap motion on 90% of the plays that you see, like it just looks so much different already from what we've gotten in the last few years with being so run heavy with Derek. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it got us to where, we are, but it needs to progress. And I think that's what we're finally seeing. So just to kind of have that talent and just the things that we're already looking to do offensively that are different is cool. And really it's the same way on the flip side with the defense, just like seeing Legarius out there guarding people one-on-one, like it's really cool. We just haven't had that. So I'm really excited. I think, yeah, for me, it's just the fact that kind of the small things that stand out as far as differences in scheme and coaches have stood out to me so far.
Yeah, I mean, I'll piggyback off that a little bit. I mean, for me personally, I think there was a limit on fans today. I think they were only able to use like half of the stadium. Like they filled up like one half of the stadium. Which I mean, I get it, security stuff. Like you got to keep it in check. But like, let's be honest here. Like I could be wrong, but like I don't know if we've ever had that many people show up to a practice before, like training camp practice like that in the stadium. Like I'm gonna be honest, you couldn't pay me to show up to some of the practices that we've had with Mike Vrabel. I mean that's torture. You couldn't pay me to show up. But I think the biggest thing for me is like probably the competitiveness of the team, like even in practice. You heard Calvin Ridley talk about in an interview, like they're chirping. They're like nonstop chirping at each other, like talking trash, like, pushing each other to be better because like, like Calvin Ridley burns Snead, he's going to let him hear it. Right. And so it creates that competitive mindset and the winner mindset that like, I'm going to come out here and I'm going to beat you every single play. And it starts in practice, right? You don't just show up on game day with that mindset. Like it starts in practice. And I think that's something we haven't had in quite a long time. So I think that it's really cool to see that kind of new leadership, new team, and just overall different atmosphere around this team.
Yeah, and like you were saying, I mean, that also starts with the coaches, though. Like Callahan, or not that it gets confusing now, but the head coach, Brian Callahan, he's come out and said that, especially with him being how heavy involved he is with the offense, that on them practice days, whenever the offense is doing good, him and Denard, they chirp back and forth with each other. It all starts with it's like the players have said, it all starts with the coach's energy, and they feed off that. So I like that. I think Devondre Sweat looks really good. I think that's one of the main points that's come out of this training camp so far. He definitely looks more slimmed down and looks more athletic for sure. I mean, that picture that came out today of him and Jeff standing side by side, I mean, he makes Jeff look little, which is insane to think about. And even with Jeff too, I mean, I've seen pictures and clips and everything, but even reporters and team members are saying that this is probably the best Jeff has ever looked coming into a season physically. But overall, man, I think it's been fun to watch, seeing a team that is put together well on both sides of the ball, being able to go out there and be, like some practices, the offense has good days. Past 2 days or so, the defense has outweighed the offense, but right now we're no pads. That's supposed to happen. Like I'm seeing a lot of people already overreacting on the offensive line and that kind of stuff. But it's like, as an offensive lineman, you can only do so much when you're in shells and you're not allowed to hit. Like there's nothing to grab onto. There's no shoulder pads. So I think people need to stop with that train a little bit, because these days defense is supposed to win in these days. But like Kel was saying earlier, me and Kel actually were on here earlier today watching some Twitter clips that a guy pretty much uploaded like 15 of them. But
Yeah, like
we were
from the
looking at
crowd.
the formations we were using. Like Kel said, we were very heavy, and Brian Callahan even came out on an interview they were doing at the stadium saying that 90-something%, most of our offense is going to be with a motion involved with it to help us disguise what we're doing, trying to see what the defense is doing, which under the Mike Vrabel era would never happen. I mean, it's Tannehill get up there on the line of scrimmage, doesn't audible, doesn't check the linebackers, nothing, just set hut, give it to Derrick Henry, here we go. So it's looked a lot better defensively as well. We were watching a lot of the videos it was kind of crazy how much disguising we were doing on defense in our coverages, where we were stacking the box, but we were really dropping out in coverage and stuff. And the new boy Shane Ray, who we just signed a couple of days ago, he had like 2 or 3 sacks in those videos that we saw on there. So he's already proven himself. He's already making plays, which I like to see. But yeah, I think overall it's been a fun time. I can't wait to see the joint practices and stuff that are going to be coming up when the pads come on and you're actually able to see these guys play. And like we said earlier a couple of weeks ago, this is just one of those rookie classes that I'm actually very excited to watch because there are a lot of dudes that can play, and a lot of dudes are going to make an impact right away for us as well.
Yeah.
But are there any other thoughts?
Well, just to kind of wrap up, because I know we don't want to spend too much time on this, but the biggest thing that, like, I'm at a point now where the next thing I want to see, because of where we're at, like, I've been pretty content with the moves we've made, the draft we had, the energy around the building, the new coaching staff, everything up to this point. And so now it's like we're in that final kind of, let's get into this next step. Let's see them. I think starting this week, maybe they're going to have some pads on.
Probably.
And I want to see some physicality. I want to see what our line looks like, potentially going up against, JC and them going up against Sweat and Jeff. I want to see Harold get back out there. Hopefully he's going to be feeling better this week. So just kind of seeing the actual energy and physicality that we at least appear that we're going to have, I think that's going to be exciting to watch. So that's kind of like the next thing once we're kind of ramping up here to get. I mean, we got a preseason game. We're recording this on a Saturday night, 2 weeks ahead of our first preseason game. So it's really exciting, and that's just where we're at right now. So I've been content with everything up to this point, and there's a lot of energy and excitement. So I want to see them throw the pads on and go at each other a little bit.
Yeah. I guess to wrap up training camp, Will Levis looks great. Callahan has done nothing but praise him this whole offseason with how much work he's put in and the leader that he's been.
Pure confidence, too.
Pure confidence. Yeah, he comes out there like he knows he's QB1, and he's showing it on the field and off the field. First person to practice. That means something.
4 a.m.
Will Levis looks great. J.C. Latham looks as good as advertised. Look, offensive line only gets better with more reps they take together, okay? We got a little bit of update on Petit Fryer, the potential starting right tackle for the season. Had another minor surgery this offseason, so he's missed a little bit of extra time, but he should be back soon. Unfortunately, Cheeto Awuzie injured his leg, so he's out for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that. So that'll be tough.
Something like that.
Yeah, that'll be tough for him to recover from that. But I think we got some dogs in the cornerback room anyway to kind of step up, or that can step up and take his place while he is out. I mean, other than that, we've looked just about how you would expect the team to look at training camp. Mistakes here and there, but
and what we haven't touched on either, the running backs look really good too.
Yeah, I mean, Pollard looks good.
Tony Pollard had that catch today. That was a 70-yard pass or whatever, really about maybe like a 50 or so pass, but turned it into a 70. But they're just showing the duality that we're going to have on our offense between them.
That's
two.
a good word for it. Yeah,
with the running and the passing, and even just them two as a person. Like even Brian has said, like, I don't consider either one of them a running back one. They're just both going to play.
Yep.
And you look at last season, Tajay. I mean, he had, I think it was like around 400 something yards rushing and 400 something yards receiving. So, and then Tony Pollard had a 1,000-yard rushing season. So overall, we're looking very good. I'm pretty sure, Kel, I did see where they said due to like the player, I forgot what they call it, and I know it's different. Like NBA has their own like player association and contracts and stuff that they do and everything, but they changed it, I think, a year ago or 2 years ago for this time period to where like you start training camp or whatever you want to call it, training camp, mini camp, whatever, and there's like 7 to 8 days of what they call like the acclimation period, and you can't put pads on until after like the 7th day or something like that. So they have an X amount of days they can practice, and then they have to have like an off day or two, and then they can practice again. I'm pretty sure Brian said the earliest I think they could put pads on is next Tuesday. So we'll see what that looks like.
Like 3 days from now.
Yeah. Because I mean, they'll have
it's like a ramp up.
Yeah, they'll have like a pad week, and then they'll have the joint practice, and then the training camp or the preseason starts.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, great looking training camp so far. Obviously, some people we didn't touch on, like you said, Harold coming back from injury.
We forgot the biggest one
too.
The biggest news of training camp is that our best player on the roster is back healthy and on the field for the first time since the Indianapolis Colts game last year where they broke his leg. The man Ryan Stonehouse is back. Huge news for us. I don't care.
And no injury designation either. He's healthy.
Yeah, Stoney, baby. Boot that thing.
Boot it. One of the best punters in the league.
Hopefully we won't have to use him as much this year.
Yeah,
but we do love him.
We do love him. He's a legend.
Yeah, but speaking of the Colts, we can go ahead and run right around into our next topic here. Last episode we covered the Jaguars and what they had in the offseason, what they potentially lost, and their our schedule prediction for them. And this week we're going to do the Colts and the Texans, starting with the Colts. One of my favorite signings that they've had in the offseason, which honestly didn't really get talked about that much, is obviously Gardner Minshew leaves to go to the Raiders. And they bring in their backup quarterback to be behind Anthony Richardson, who I think is a phenomenal pickup for them in case he does go down again, is Joe Flacco. He played very well last year with the Browns.
Very well.
And I just think he's obviously a veteran, can teach him, a lot, and definitely how not to get hit the way he's been getting hit. Because, I mean, pre-show I talked to Kale, I didn't realize, I knew Anthony Richardson missed some time last year, but I didn't realize it was 13 games. I didn't realize it was that long. So that now that you lost Minshew, which if you're an AFC South any kind of fan, let alone a Titans fan, you're praising that Gardner Minshew is out of here because he just annihilated the AFC South whenever he played against them, especially the Titans. But they brought in Joe Flacco, and I think that's a great pickup for them.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's interesting when we talk about Richardson because I'm pretty sure, I can't remember exactly, so y'all have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it was some big hit. That's the thing about the way that he runs. Yes, he could get hit pretty hard and something happened, but also with the recklessness that it seemed that he ran with, all sorts of things can happen, whether they play on turf too, so it's seems to be a higher likeliness of maybe tearing an ACL, something, I don't know. But I did see something recently, and I just thought about this because you said it, but I just saw something recently where they had asked the coach about him running, and he gave some weird answer I can't remember what he said exactly, but he was like, oh, it was something about Steph. He was like, you going to tell Steph to not shoot threes? Because that's what he's good at. And that was kind of his reasoning for them saying, well, are you going to limit his running because the potential to get injured? And he basically answered with that. So it's I get what he's saying, but at the same time, there does need to be a balance. And Callahan's even said that about Levis, who isn't known, he's obviously a good athlete. He's not necessarily known to run. But when he does, he's not going to back down. I mean, dude folded Jalen Ramsey like a lawn chair last year when he just ran right into him. So anyway, that's one of the things I just saw the other day that was interesting. But so yeah, I think I agree with the Flacco thing. The dude was going off there for a few weeks when he came in after Deshaun Watson was out. So
and they basically player of the year.
Let him to the playoffs.
They picked him off the street. Dude was just throwing in the backyard with his brother.
He's 39 this year.
Legitimately, that's how he stayed ready. He would go out in the backyard and throw routes with his brother or something like that. That's what he was doing, and then came off and was lighting the league up. So anyway, he's obviously still got the experience to lead a team to wins that could potentially need it if he goes down again. So was that the only one you mentioned, or was there?
Yeah, that's the only one I started with.
picked up. So it's going to be interesting. I don't follow their roster moves as much, so it's maybe harder to go through their schedule. But is there anybody else of note that
they
Yeah,
re-signed
a few.
Michael Pittman Jr. to a 3-year extension.
Yeah, that's huge.
So that's
top
obviously
15
that was
receiver in the
one
league.
that was going to happen.
Yeah, he always
Uh,
torches us.
Last
top
year,
15 guy.
they obviously re-signed Jonathan Taylor as well.
That's right.
Good for them.
They extended Zaire Franklin, their linebacker, to a 3-year deal.
Yeah, he's really good too. He's amazing.
They
Yeah, really good.
have DeForest on an extension, right?
I'll have to
Buckner?
see.
Yeah, I think he's still.
I
I'm pretty
think-
sure he's still on the team. Yeah, DeForest Buckner.
feel
I
like
know he's
they
on the team, but they didn't do it.
I feel like they
in
like
offseason.
Grover
I thought
Stewart
they
was. I
re-signed
know
him
they.
last-
Grover Stewart, who's really good defensive tackle. They re-signed him, and he's a monster. And they also had a corner. I don't remember if it was Kenny Moore that they re-signed.
Kenny Moore,
because he's
3-year.
really good too. Yeah, he's really good as well.
Yeah, because they ended up letting Gilmore go, right? Is Gilmore a free agent still, or is he done?
I think he's free agent.
Gilmore's still a free agent, but he was on the Cowboys last year.
Okay.
Yeah, no, the
That's right,
Colts didn't
Cowboys.
like go out and make a splash from
They-
another team. They re-signed a bunch of like
Mhm.
core
Mhm.
players from their roster, which is important to like keep the team together.
And they're just trying to build around.
Mhm.
Well, who did they draft? Didn't they draft?
Adonai Mitchell, second round, who everyone thought was going in the
Adonai
first.
Mitchell, yeah.
Yes, yeah, 80
He's a
Mitchell.
monster from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
He's a beast. I know a lot of Titans fans were praying that we drafted him at that second round turn, because he was a guy that was projected to not even make it out the first round. But then all that stuff came
They
out
also
about
drafted.
all sorts of stuff.
They also drafted Latu,
Demon, yeah,
the
at
edge
17,
from UCLA.
which is crazy. 15, that's still crazy.
They got him at 15.
That late in the draft.
They got Adonai Mitchell, second round. They drafted an offensive tackle from Pittsburgh in the 3rd round. And they drafted a center in the 4th round. So added onto that offensive line that already was pretty decent.
Yeah, it's already good.
And obviously, like I said, like the 80 Mitchell thing, me and Austin were watching it live. We were sitting there saying something's got to be wrong with him if he's sliding, that far back. So, there's been reports come out where he had some attitude problems and whatnot during college. Almost like a Stephon Diggs situation. But they added a phenomenal. Honestly, should have been an early 2nd round pick in a receiving room already with Michael Pittman Jr. They have
Josh Downs.
They're tight end, and Josh Downs, and you got their tight ends are really well, especially when they play against the Titans. They go off every single time.
They love us.
And then obviously they did lose Zach Moss at running back. That was one key departure they had. But other than that, you re-signed Jonathan Taylor. You re-signed some, like Austin said, some key parts in their team. Kel, I know you said you got their schedule pulled up, right?
Yeah, I was just looking at that. Let's see.
Yeah, I really hope Anthony Richardson can just stay healthy. Young, athletic. He's just one of those guys where, even as a nemesis of the Titans, playing for a rival, he's just one of those players that, he makes or breaks that team this season. If Anthony Richardson's healthy, that's we're about to get into the schedule, but that's a good football team. So I'm hoping he can stay healthy. He's a great player. So
Inches with our division.
Yeah, and as much as you don't, that's the thing too. Like this division is quickly becoming one of the younger and better divisions in football because of the way that really we're all in a very similar spot. The Texans may kind of have a head start because of last year, but if Levis can progress and Trevor, we all kind of have our thoughts on Trevor, but and then if Richardson can progress, you're looking at a slew of the next young generation of quarterbacks potentially that are right behind, Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Jackson, all those guys. So, yeah, we'll get into their schedule here. And what I was just going to say is that obviously it'd be great to just sweep the division entirely. I think it's more likely that we go like 3-3 or 4-2, which I think we had us going something like that when we went through it. But you still want to see Richardson out there. You don't want to see people hurt. You want to beat them at their best. You want to see good football. It's just the way that it is. So, okay, now this is great. Off rip, they're going to have some games here. So, first regular season game, Sunday, September 9th or 8th. That's going to be a 12 o'clock noon game, and they go, they're playing at home against Houston. That's game 1.
Wow.
They start with a division game
in Indianapolis.
So, It is in Indianapolis. I think that honestly could go either way. I mean, the line right now is 2 points, so not even a field goal.
I think Indy wins. I think, look, the Texans, I think, are going to be a really good football team.
For sure.
I think the Texans are going to be a really good football team. I think that they're going to be very similar to the Bears, with Williams trying to start out. Going to be a little rocky at first. I think they lose that game. I think going to Indianapolis, no matter what team you are, is a very tough environment to play in. But I just think the Texans are going to have like some early struggles, and they'll take them a couple games before they get clicking offensively with Stephon Diggs and Joe Mixon in the lineup now.
I'm fine with that.
I can see that.
That's
to me,
fine.
though,
I'm fine with that.
I just Richardson hasn't played that much. They have defensively. I don't really know that much about the Colts, but just looking at it on my point of view, you're out talented on as a whole against that other team with the Texans. So I think the Texans pull that one out.
Also, it comes down to me. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just because we're gonna go through quickly here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and say Colts. I mean, it's a division game. All these division games end up being a lot closer than you would potentially expect, even though teams might not be as even as you think. But it being Richardson's first game back off an injury, we just don't know what that's gonna look like. So I'm gonna go ahead and give that to Indy, especially because it's in Indianapolis. So we'll have them 1-0 there.
Mm-hmm.
Week 2, they're going to go to Green Bay at Lambeau and play the Packers with Jordan Love and his whopper of a deal that he just got.
Mm-hmm. Highest paid quarterback right now.
Yep. Highest paid, one of the highest paid players.
Which,
crazy.
I think that can go either way. Just to touch on that really quick here. Whoa. First off, that's the first reaction I had because it's like, geez, the dude played a pretty good second half of the season and then had a great couple of games in the playoffs, and they said, but that's the market right now. That's why I think
that whole
scary,
thing that
bro.
I don't know if we brought it up the other week or not, but I know I saw some stuff on it where the owners were getting together and debating on if they should implement a quarterback salary tax, or not even a tax, but
like
a salary cap. I think that's going to get passed. I mean, it's just getting outrageous.
Yeah.
I mean, you're those style of quarterbacks already take up like 30-something% of your cap a season. So I mean, I think it's definitely gonna get down there because like I think Jordan Love is a great player. I think he's going to be a great quarterback here in a couple of years. But for him to be getting paid that money at this section of his career, it's crazy.
Because this is the battle. This is really what it is. Like I'm not going to say he's not worth $220 million. But I'm also not going to say he is worth $220 million.
I'll tell you.
No.
He's not worth $220 million.
You don't know. Well,
Pat
here's the
Mahomes
thing.
Is worth $220 million. Jordan Love, who has played
Absolutely.
one season he's played.
That's what I'm saying.
No way.
That's the thing that gets me. So it's like, number one, there's too much money, first off, in the market right now to be given in these spots. But if they want to keep him, that's the market right now. They didn't have a choice to do that if they wanted to keep him. So or else it's like he's going to go somewhere else and somebody else is going to you're going to have to pay him. Somebody's going to pay him. So it's like, I mean, we're going to have to do the same thing if Levis pans out. So I don't know. It's a weird.
I think it's different though, because I don't think Will. Depending on how good he plays, I mean, I don't see a world where he signs for that money.
No,
because like
I would
unless
hope.
he comes out here and he's just the chosen one, And
I'm gonna be honest.
Comes out and
I mean, if we come out and go to the Super Bowl this year, you throw some money at him.
Here's my thing though with Levis.
And he's second round pick, so it's different, right?
Well, that's true, but he doesn't have a 5th-year option, so that's going to be interesting when we get to that point.
My thing with Levis is this.
Yeah, but
I'm hoping that we get a Jalen Brunson scenario where Levis is like, you know what? I understand the money that I can make, right? But I want to take a pay cut because I want to be good, right? I don't care that I'm the highest paid quarterback in the league. Take a note from Pat Mahomes' book. I don't care if I'm the highest paid quarterback in the league. I want to win games. Yeah, Brady too.
Yeah,
Mahomes
Brady's
though
the
too.
best example.
I mean, Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league, and he's not even a top 7 paid quarterback. He's over here.
Well, it's also different though because Mahomes
would be, but we've had like 5 guys get paid.
Well, no, it's just different. His contract's different. These guys are signing 3 or 5 years. His contract
on
was
13.
10 or 13
I think it's
year.
13 because he got
so like you can stretch that so much farther.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on that.
Let's get back on track here. So, Colts v. Packers, is that at home, away? What is that?
In Green Bay.
That's in Green Bay. That's in Green Bay.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That's an L.
That's a loss. That's a loss.
So you're 1-1 coming back to Indianapolis and playing a Chicago who Caleb Williams potentially has, 2 games under his belt now. One of them being a loss to us.
In
This
Indianapolis,
is what we said. Yes, in Indianapolis.
W.
Yeah, I think so too.
I like him winning that. I'm doing my own little. I got him. I'm 1-2 for them right now. I'm doing since I
Okay.
predicted them to.
So 2-1, and Drew's got 1-2. So 2-1 going to not St. Louis, staying home against Pittsburgh. This is interesting.
That
I
is
don't know what
interesting.
Pittsburgh is going to look like. They're always competitive because I think Mike Tomlin's a great coach, but it's going to be hard. And I think people may not want to admit it yet, but it feels like there's a little bit of a QB battle that nobody's talking about. And why wouldn't there be? I mean, Justin Fields is really talented. Now, is he at a point where he just immediately starts over Wilson? No, I don't think so. I don't think Wilson gets the respect he should. I think he was in a weird situation. So I'm kind of hoping, I personally like Russell Wilson. I'm kind of hoping he comes out and has a good season, but I don't know where they're at, to be honest with you. So this is an interesting game. It's in Indianapolis. I really think it could go either way.
As a team, I think Pittsburgh is better outside of the quarterback situation. I think that they're better.
I feel like TJ could harass Richardson.
Yeah, I mean, TJ, you still got TJ Watt. You still got Cam Hayward. They signed Pat Queen. You still got Minka back there. You still got Joey Porter, who you just drafted, who was a rookie last year, who played good. You still got Pickens.
I think
as a roster, they're better.
Honestly,
I think they lose that game more than likely, no matter who's at quarterback.
Okay, so we have 2-2 going to Jacksonville. They got a packed kind of front of their schedule here because this is back to back. They got a 2-2. We have them coming off and going to Jacksonville and then to Tennessee, back to back here. And I'm pretty sure we
they beat
had
Jacksonville.
them losing to us.
I think they beat Jacksonville.
Okay, so if they beat Jacksonville in Jacksonville, that means then they go to Tennessee, and we had them losing that game.
Yep.
So that makes them 3-3. Drew, would you say that probably they can beat Jacksonville there in Jacksonville?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you have Trevor Lawrence as your quarterback, you stand no chance. So
he's got good receivers.
They drafted his running back, saying, "Here, bud, hope this helps."
He's a first half warrior.
Yeah, so
he's a first half of the season warrior.
Yeah.
He's Joel Embiid.
That's true. That's true. He has cracked towards the end of the year.
Okay, I don't think necessarily Trevor Lawrence is that bad of a quarterback.
No, you can't say he's bad.
His contract is horrible, though. There's no way.
Sure.
We went over this last episode, but his contract's horrible, and it puts them in such a bind where you have so much money thrown at him where it's going to be so hard to build around. And
that's why I'm hoping Levis gets on that same train.
I think he is, because I'm telling you, I've said this for the longest. Will he felt so disrespected for how he slid in the draft because he was supposed to be a top 10 pick.
But that means on the flip side, his gratitude for us picking him.
And we traded up to get him. So I think there's a level of respect there, and I don't, like you said, Will. He's already shown it, man. I mean, he's sitting there taking his boys out to Cabo in his first season and as a starter.
Go back to last season. Even Vrabel giving him the job. I mean, that wasn't going to be an easy job.
I think he should have had the job
get.
way before. I think Vrabel just didn't want to give it to him.
Well, sure, because Vrabel was loyal and Tannehill, but I did not expect him to make that change. I'm just going to be honest with you. Now, the injury to Tannehill probably helped a little bit, but then he kept it when Tannehill was able to come back. And so that's when I was kind of like, okay.
Yeah, because we won games.
Exactly. Well, and it just started to feel like we were moving forward.
But overall, I have them losing to the Jags and then losing to us at home. So I have them 2-4.
Okay. So Austin and I have them 3-3 then going back home to play Miami, which is not easy. So, man,
I think Miami's
such
overrated,
a weird
man.
team. The thing about them is they play really well under good weather circumstances.
Shout out Jane Anderson. Look, shout out Jane Anderson. I hate it if you're watching this, but I'll tell you, I think Miami's overrated. I think Tyreek Hill's a beast, but I just think that defensively they're not cut out to win. I mean, and offensively, you shut down Tyreek, and it feels like that offense is very stagnant. And who knows if Tua's even going to be playing.
I don't even know that it's that necessarily, because they do have good receivers. I think it's more so.
We have no idea if Anthony Richardson will be playing at this point in the season, because by week 4 he's normally hurt.
That is true.
But I will
kind of
say
banking
about
on everyone
Tua.
being healthy. Yeah.
Tua, I like Tua. It's a weird line with him, though. It just seems like he's either pinpoint accurate or he just doesn't have it, and there's no in between. So it's just like you don't know which one you're going to get. So I don't know. I'll go with Austin's pick on this one. I don't. Hold on, where are we at? This is in Indianapolis. I mean,
Yeah,
I
in
personally
Indy.
can see the Dolphins winning, but I just don't know. But I can also see the Colts winning. So you guys can take, and we'll just go with y'all's pick.
Give me Dolphins.
Yeah, just give it to the Dolphins.
Okay, so we'll go. That's 3 and 4. Going to Houston. I'm telling you, this schedule's not easy.
We didn't even
Yeah.
got to talk about it
Yeah,
in Houston.
Because we had them beating them the first time.
They're lucky
not
to
beating
squeeze
them
out
again,
game one,
especially in Houston.
Yeah, they're lucky
Yeah, I
to
think
squeeze
so,
out
too.
game one. They're not winning game two.
So this next one's interesting. You hit your 3 and 5. You're going to play in Minnesota against JJ McCarthy and Jay Jets.
Oh, W.
This is weird.
I think the Vikings aren't good.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I see that
I don't
too.
like the Vikings. I don't like them as a team.
I just don't know what JJ's going to be able to do.
I think that's a Jonathan Taylor masterclass of a game right there.
Probably so.
The Vikings have a very good offense, right? I like the offensive additions.
Maybe we don't know what JJ McCarthy.
On paper they do.
On paper,
sure,
they
but we
picked
don't
up
know
Aaron
what
Jones.
JJ's going to be able to do.
They picked up Aaron Jones at running back. I like
Yes.
that. I like that
That's a
pickup.
great pickup.
Veteran, good guy, good player too. And rookie quarterback with the best receiver in the league, and then Jordan Addison, who's probably a top 5 wide receiver 2 in the league after last year, and then a top 5 tight
And they
end.
got
in
KJ
Hawkinson.
Hamler still. KJ Hamler's solid.
TJ Hawkinson, man, he's a top 5 tight end. So
Well,
the
also,
weapons are there.
Hawkinson's a beast.
Also,
The weapons are there.
if you're a Vikings fan, let us know down here in the comments when you get to this point. But from everything that I've seen from the Vikings camp, is that it's not JJ quarterback number 1 right now.
Sam Darnold.
It's Sam Darnold.
Oh, I did see some videos about that this week. I forgot about that. I
think they're just trying to keep competition.
like you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so too. But it's really going to come down to what quarterback you're going to roll out there, and are they going to be successful? So, Are we going to say Colts win in Minnesota there?
Yeah,
Yeah, I do.
I think so.
I have him 3
Okay,
to
so
6 now.
that's
we're banking this whole
so
season
we have them.
on Richardson healthy. Like we're
Yes.
gonna just bank that he's healthy.
Yeah,
I just
take
think
it with a grain of
that's
salt.
a college.
'cause this is-
That's a college football style game right there with them. You run them little options with him and Jonathan Taylor.
yeah.
And, I just think it's a Jonathan Taylor masterclass.
Hey,
right
we'll
there.
get to see Dallas
Yeah.
Turner. I was very high on Dallas Turner, but I don't
There
think
you
he's
go.
helping that
Yeah.
defense stop anyone on that offense though. That good.
Okay, so yeah, we have them. Austin and I have them at 4 and 5. Then coming back to Indianapolis and playing the Bills. The Bills. This is another interesting. The NFL is going to be wild this year. Let me tell you, because I don't think the Bills are as good anymore. Like you can say what you want about Stephon Diggs' locker room problems or whatever, if there was, but that was his guy. Like Stephon Diggs caught like 10 balls a game, so that's a lot of pressure on Keon Coleman. Now I've seen a lot of good news about Coleman. But who's to say he's going to go in and, I don't know. I just don't know. So that's an interesting game.
I think Buffalo
I think they squeak it out.
having Josh Allen there is the most important thing, right? I mean, Josh Allen, if we're being honest,
Yeah, I mean,
should have won
anytime you're
MVP
playing
last
Josh
year.
Allen, it's going to be close.
Yeah, Josh
For
Allen was
sure.
my MVP last year. I mean, okay, Lamar Jackson won, but Josh Allen was better all around in every stat, except record. And I just think that Keon Coleman's going to do his thing. They got Curtis Samuel. I think they're going to be good. I think defensively they lost too much to keep up. You lost Hyde. I'm pretty sure they lost Poyer. They also lost Tyrell Dodson in the middle of the field. I'm pretty sure they also lost Edmonds in the middle of the field. And then also, I mean, I guess Von Miller is coming back, but like, are we really going to think Von Miller is going to be that big of a difference maker at this point in his career? Probably not. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think Buffalo wins.
Yeah, I got the Colts winning that one.
Okay. So 5 and 5. Going to New York. And again, this is going to be double-sided here. We're going to say that this is a healthy Rodgers and a healthy Richardson.
Jets.
I personally got Jets here. I think the Jets defense is too good.
Too good.
So, and if they do have a healthy Rodgers, they should be able to put up just as many points as needed. I mean, honestly, and that's a type of game where you may only need 14 to 17 points. I mean, the Jets defense is that good. So
They're just too good. They're way too good. It makes no sense.
dude,
they're too
they're
good.
ridiculous. Yeah. So that's the thing. The Jets have potential to be a pretty good team this year if Rodgers can come back and be himself and be healthy. So
Also, they really need
what do you have?
Malachi
You got Malachi who?
Corley from Western Kentucky because they got Garrett Wilson, but they don't really have a lot of other star
He's a
power.
baller, dude.
Yeah, they
He's
don't
a
have
good
really a
route
lot
runner.
of weapons
But
at
you
wide
have him
receiver.
and Garrett Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, Okay, so that's what did we say? 5 and 6. Drew has them.
Something like that. Yeah.
4 and 7.
Okay, so 5 and 6 going to New England. I think they would beat New England.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Everybody's
a
beating New
slaughter.
England.
That's a slaughter.
I think New England's going to be one of the worst teams in the league. 6 and 6 going to Denver. This is going to be a fun game to watch, I think, between
Denver?
a couple of young quarterbacks, given that they're healthy. Because I think Bo Nix is going to be a lot better than people predict.
Colts by
personally.
50.
I like
Bo Nix or
Colts by
Bo Nix
50.
or Zach Wilson. I mean, yeah, they're winning that one. They're 6 and 7 for me.
Zach Wilson is not going to start over Bo Nix.
I'll tell you right now,
It's not happening.
the Broncos are lucky if they don't get beat by 40. I mean, they're praying to keep it within a 5-touchdown game, if I'm being honest. You got Pat Surtain. That's
All
all
right,
you
well,
got.
we can definitely go Colts there then. So 7 and 6. I mean, we're talking potentially a run for the playoffs here. Like
Yeah.
this is coming down to the wire in the
I
AFC
got them
South.
6 and 7 right now.
Yeah, so 7 and 6. Going back to Indy to play us again.
I think
Which I don't
they beat
remember
us.
what we had. I think
Yeah,
we
I think they
might
beat
have
us.
split this.
In
Yeah.
Indy, I think that's a loss.
So yeah, which I think that we all agreed on that on one of the other episodes when we did ours. So that's 7 and 7 going to New York.
Wait,
to
who
play
was
the Giants?
that? Was us at home or them at home?
Them at home.
For our
In
game.
Indianapolis.
They're at home, yeah, in Indy.
I'm saying we're gonna
So-
pull that one out.
You think we're sweeping them?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, man.
Actually, you know what? No.
Oh, man.
I think our
can't-
defense matches up very well with them.
I can't
I
say that.
personally
think,
think
we're
we
beating them.
we split Houston, we split Indy, and we sweep Jacksonville.
Yeah, I like that. I don't
Which
think
that'd
we
be
sweep Indianapolis.
Best case scenario, because that means we're 4 and
All right,
2.
well, hey, this is y'all have y'all's records. I got mine.
That's
Our
true.
defense just lines up way too well with that team.
I think my number's off though. So
I mean,
we, need to
we
make
better
sure.
hope
I'm
Anthony
confident.
Richardson.
Legarius
better-
will shut down Michael Pittman. Cheeto is on Josh Downs, and then Mercury's got Donnie Mitchell. I mean,
Yeah, well,
that's a
you
great
better hope
matchup for us.
Richardson ain't playing because he's fixing to make Jack Gibbons look like a fool. That's for sure.
Oh,
and he already isn't good.
I see where I messed up. Hold on a second. I messed up and skipped one. So after the Jets, they are playing Detroit in Indy, but they're not
Loss.
going to beat Detroit. There's no way.
Yeah, that's a loss. We can just go back and
That's
say
just
an L
me.
for that one.
I know Austin's got a hot take on Detroit, but they're a great football team.
Mhm. I mean, it's not that my opinion on Detroit necessarily. It's my opinion on Jared Goff. I think Detroit's a fantastic team, well coached.
Jared Goff's a baller, dude.
Yeah, so I got them losing that one too. So I have them 6 and 9.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
he's
at this
a
point, I
baller.
think we have them 7 and 8. Yeah, that's right. So they're 7 and 8 for us, going to New York to play the Giants.
W. Win.
Yeah.
Sauce Gardner.
I'm sorry,
That's a quick
Welcome
the
to the
Giants,
league, Malik
I just
Neighbors.
don't think they're good.
Welcome to the league, Malik Neighbors. Sauce
You're
is not
not-
letting you get a single target the whole game. Welcome. Like I hate
Yeah.
it for you.
Yeah. So that's 7 and 9, and then we have Jacksonville at Indianapolis.
W.
So I think they go 8 and 9.
I have them 8 and 9 as well.
So we had a little bit of
Oh,
disagreement toward the beginning, but we ended up with the same thing. So it's just like
Yeah.
8 and 9, and that would put them probably right around the same area with Jacksonville, potentially third. That would probably leave Houston and then us, because I think that's kind of where we've been at. So right now, as it stands, I think that kind of goes Houston, us,
Colts.
Indy, Jacksonville. So I'm gonna hop over here, and y'all can kind of wrap up any final thoughts on their schedule. But I'm gonna hop over here and look at the Texans, so we
I
can roll
mean,
through that one too.
The AFC South as a whole, I don't know about the Texans, but at least from our perspective, the Colts' perspective, I mean, the Jags, I can't remember exactly who all they had on their schedule, but I just think Jags as a team just isn't the most competitive team that they can possibly have. So I don't want to necessarily say their schedule is that tough, just that their roster is in a tough situation. But like for us and the Colts, and we're about to see here with the Texans as well, you know, they came into it this season, especially for us, saying that we had one of the, I think it was a top 10 ranked easiest schedule, but like our schedule ain't easy.
It's not easy.
Like obviously,
At
like
all.
with our division too, like our division games aren't just gimmies anymore,
Mm-mm.
other than Jacksonville.
we
We
think
need
healthy.
to, at the least, in
think.
my opinion, go
When we're
3 and
healthy.
3 in the division.
Mhm.
I'd say when
Yeah.
we're healthy, we're beating Jacksonville easily both times.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no, I can see
but
that.
but between the Colts and the Texans, that's a toss up, man. It's just whoever comes to play that day.
Yeah.
That's for
Uh,
sure, because we could easily go 0 and 4 in the we gotta lock in those games.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
It's a tough division, man. Like, and
All
also like, it's a tough division, but the out of conference games are tough too. Because if the Lions are as good as everybody thinks they're going to be, that's a loss immediately on everyone's record, right? If the Bears actually put
and
it together,
I think we play Green Bay.
yeah, that's Green
Like,
Bay.
there's a couple of, and we
loss.
play Washington. Like, we play some teams with quarterbacks that we just don't know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll be curious. This is going to be intriguing here. Let's roll through these Texans games real quick here.
We're gonna talk about their players too.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about their players.
Yeah,
first.
that's right. Jeez.
Yeah,
go ahead.
where do you start?
Roll out the list.
Yeah, where do we start?
Santa's naughty and nice
listen,
list here.
To me, one thing that isn't getting talked about enough with the Texans is that they actually got to keep their offensive coordinator.
Huge.
Who he was getting interviewed by a lot of teams to be their head coach, us included. Yeah. And it was pretty much a sure thing that he was out of there.
Yep.
Bobby Slowick, I'm pretty sure is his name.
Yeah, Bobby Slowick.
But he obviously
and he'll get a head coaching job in the next couple of years.
Yeah, for sure. But you have your offensive coordinator who led your rookie quarterback to being the rookie of the year, and he gets to stay now with him for another year, already knowing that system. So I think that's a massive one that they
and their receivers,
added.
man, they're getting Tank Dell back. They're in a really good spot.
Yeah,
good.
But
and they re-signed Nico
earlier that I got mistaken on. Yeah, I'm about to go through it here. They picked up Danielle Hunter that we talked about earlier from the Vikings, 2-year contract. So that's a big edge presence for them. They took our, leading sack rusher last year into Nico Autry, which he's on the older side. He got paid a little more than what we probably thought that he was worth.
Too much.
But I think that's a good, 2-year, $20 million deal for them.
Yeah.
They took our best linebacker and a top 5 tackle leader for the league last year in Aziz, which really hurt. I wish we could have worked on something with him. But I know good and well he signed a 3-year, $34 million deal. Like, he was just asking for everything pretty much.
He signed for almost the same as.
Well, Danico was the same way. We just couldn't pay him that.
Yeah.
Let's see other notable names here. C.J. Henderson, former Florida cornerback. Signed
that's actually not a bad pickup. Deal. I like that. I know they. Mm-mm. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
They signed Miles Bryant, another corner, to a 1-year veteran minimum deal.
Not sure who that
is. They signed Derek Barnett, defensive end, 1-year deal, veteran minimum.
Stud.
I'm about to say he knows who that is.
Yeah. Tennessee sack legend right there.
They brought back Noah Brown.
Brown, who just torches us for no reason.
Man, this is actually one I didn't even notice, man. They picked up Kansas City Chiefs punter, former Florida punter, Tommy Townsend, who used to always snub Stonehouse for Pro Bowls. And then they obviously
that is true.
1-year deal with Jeff Okudah, cornerback.
It's just sneaky good pickup.
It is if he can live up to his potential, because that was a high pick a few years ago.
Number 3.
He didn't get to do much because
he was at number 3 in the draft.
Yeah.
He had a pretty good year last year.
State, wasn't it?
Yeah, he had a pretty good year last year.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can
he was one of those ones where he was in college. He was kind of like Surtain. Like, people didn't throw at him at Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One big signing they did this offseason was they locked down Dalton Schultz to a 3-year, $36 million contract.
Yeah, he's solid.
Beast, yeah.
They brought back Titans legend Desmond King.
Bomb.
So.
Bomb. Jeez.
Yeah.
And then they signed a kicker. But other than that, man, I mean, your main ones is Dalton Schultz, Danielle Hunter, Aziz,
what did the top of their draft class look like? Because I feel like they had, because you're thinking they got Will Anderson last year.
They picked him in the second
from
round.
Georgia. Stud.
They picked your boy Blake Fisher, Notre Dame tackle.
Shout out, bro. He's going to be a lot better than what people think.
Yeah, he's good.
They picked a safety, Kalen Bullock from
USC. I was very high on him in the pre-draft process.
And then they picked a tight end from Ohio State, Cade Stover.
Yep.
He's good.
Let's see. And linebacker Jamal Hill from Oregon.
Not sure.
Running back Jawar Jordan from Louisville.
Jawar Jordan's solid, actually.
Yeah, and then an edge rusher and defensive lineman after that.
Yeah.
From
so I mean, the
Auburn.
Texans, they just on paper they're the best team in the AFC South.
Yeah.
I think we can compete. Which, dude, that kind of makes me like scared but excited at the same time. It's like I can't believe that I'm actually saying that we can compete for the top spot, but I really do believe that. So let's run through this here because we can hopefully wrap this up pretty soon. But
I mean, truth be
Let's
told,
see
if the
here.
Texans are if they're healthy, they're one of the best teams in football. So,
Oh, I think so too. I mean, they're going to compete with everybody. So,
Yep.
Texans, Colts, first game in Indianapolis, and I think we had Texans
yeah,
winning this game.
I think they lose that game.
So they're 1-0,
Mhm.
going back to Houston, playing Chicago.
Oh,
and
you
I
think they
that's a
wait? You
W.
think they beat Indianapolis?
Oh no! I'm sorry. We had
we had 'em
Indianapolis pulling that one out, didn't we?
Yeah, we had them losing in
Yep.
Indianapolis, first game of the season.
So 0-1 coming back home in Houston to play Chicago. That's a dub to me.
I had them
easy.
1-0, so they're 2-0 for me now.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to drag
1-1
Chicago.
going to Minnesota.
W
That's a dub to me.
You said what's game 3?
Minnesota.
home.
At Minnesota.
Oh yeah, 3-0.
No, it's at Minnesota.
Oh, at Minnesota.
3-0.
Mhm. So, 2-1. This is Jacksonville in Houston.
4-0.
That's-
W.
Yeah, that's 3-1.
They're going
Um,
to sweep Jacksonville.
This is Bills in Houston.
W. I think the Bills take a step
I think
back.
so too.
Houston's better at every position on the field, except maybe quarterback with Josh Allen. Like they're better
Yep.
everywhere else.
Yeah, and not that CJ could get there. Like he's very good. It's like
Yeah.
the only reason he isn't better is because it is Josh Allen.
And he's going into his second year, sophomore slump. That's nothing
Yeah.
too. If CJ Stroud has a sophomore slump, the Texans are in trouble.
That's true.
Like you better hope he
I
doesn't
find
get
that
hurt.
multiple
hard
times.
to believe.
I've said that
but-
multiple episodes ago.
Yeah. So,
So-
what is that? Let's see. Let me make sure I got my. What do
You
you
know
got, Drew?
I'll just be. I'll be.
They only got one
confidential.
loss.
Give me
They've only got one
give me the Bills. Give me the Bills. 4-1.
I'm glad you're keeping up with your own crap because I'm not doing that.
Yeah, nah, I don't.
But
think
we have them at
Bills
the
stand
same
a
record
chance.
now.
Yeah.
I
No.
think we have them at the same
We have
record
them
now.
up a win. We only have them at one loss right now, and that's to.
But Drew does too now because he had them win
I'm
the first
4-1.
game.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we have them at 4-1, one way or another. We have them at 4-1 going to New England. That's 5-1 to me. They're not going
Because
to lose. To New
honestly, my only reason for the last one, I just really don't want the Texans starting off 5-0.
England. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I see that.
Yep. Okay, so 4-1 going to New England. I can go ahead
W.
and say I think we're going to agree that's 5.
It's a murder.
50-0
Then
Right
they're
there.
going to Green Bay, and actually, I'm going to take Green Bay on this one.
loss. Because that's
at
what
Green Bay.
that's in
Lambeau's not a fun place to play.
is that like November? Like, is it gonna be snowing by then?
October 20th.
Okay, so it's not going.
No,
to
but it will probably be chilly. But it shouldn't be anything out of the ordinary.
I gotta be realistic, man. Give me the Texans.
Okay.
I'm
Austin,
being
what do you say?
realistic.
I'll
I
go
think
with
the
your pick.
Packers win. I think the Packers are
Yeah.
in Lambeau. Man, that's a tough place to play, man.
Okay, so 5-2 is what me and Austin have heading to back home to Indy to play the Colts. And I think they get this one.
Yeah, they win that game. I think they split with Indy.
I'm splitting with Indy too, so they're 6-2 for me.
6-2.
For both of us.
That's what we have
right?
too, right?
Yeah, we're split both ways.
Okay.
Yeah, I had them 6-1 before that.
So
Yep.
6-2 Texans at Jets, and that's a Thursday night 7:15 prime video game. I think that's gonna be a really good game. Dang, that's gonna be a good game.
If everybody's healthy,
that's
man,
gonna
that
be
is a
crazy.
phenomenal matchup.
That's a great game.
That's gonna be a crazy game, and it's a Thursday night too. I mean, did the people creating the schedules learn their lesson from last year? Hey, let's not schedule the Chargers and Broncos as our Thursday night games. Let's make them
No
some
kidding,
decent
'cause
games
last
this
year's
year.
primetime games were
Sucked.
absolute
They
booty cheeks.
sucked.
They were
All of them.
terrible.
They were terrible. They were awful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I
Give me
think
the
the
Jets,
Jets.
man.
Give me the freaking Jets.
Give me the
man.
Jets.
Give me the freaking
I
Jets,
like it.
man.
I like it a lot. So that's 6-3, and guess what? Oh my gosh! You come back home to Indy, and you got to play Detroit on another.
Loss.
That's a Sunday night
Loss.
game.
Loss.
Woo! That is not easy.
Nah, that's
Holy
a loss.
crap! This
They're
is
gonna
about
get
to be
banged
our.
up.
This is about to be our little TikTok video right here.
Yeah. They're gonna get banged up
Golly.
against New York, and
Give
then
me the Texans.
No way. There's no way. Jameer
Give me the
Gibbs is
Texans.
going to drag them up and down that field. He is going to murder them.
Well, hey,
Okay.
hey, you got your favorite quarterback over there. I like that quarterback matchup for the Texans. So give me the Texans.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If Jared Goff plays like Astro
I'm a
Dobbs,
Detroit.
they got a chance.
No, I'm a Detroit believer, dude. Dan Campbell, I could run through a wall for him, and he's not even our coach.
That's all right. I got
what
the
is that?
Texans. And I
Me and
can't
Austin
wait.
have them at 6-4.
I got
Yeah.
them 7-3, baby.
Yep. So 6-4 going
team
to
in the AFC.
Dallas. I'm sorry, Dallas is not winning that game, bro. That's 3 straight primetime games.
Give me
That's a Monday
Dallas,
night
bro.
7:15.
Give me
Give me Dallas. Yeah,
give
give
me
me
Dallas.
Your butt
man.
out of here,
Give me
bro.
Dallas. CeeDee
You are
Lamb. Who's guarding him?
tripping.
CeeDee Lamb
There's
masterclass.
nobody on the Texans, bro. Micah
Prime
Parsons
time
is coming out
Dallas?
for freaking blood. They're in Dallas.
Primetime Dallas sucks, bro.
Look, I'm telling you right now. I don't care who it is. CeeDee Lamb is a top 3 receiver in the league. Micah Parsons is a top
Number
3
one receiver in
defensive end
fantasy
in the
last year.
league. Dak Prescott's coming out with vengeance, contract year. Like, they're coming for blood. Zeke's back, baby. Zeke is back.
Well, I don't want this to be too complicated, so I'm gonna go with the majority vote. And what'd you say? You said Cowboys, so that means we have them at 6-5.
I have them 7-4.
You know what, Kel? Give it to
Wait,
the
that
Texans.
doesn't seem right.
Give it to them. Yeah, I think you got your numbers mixed up. If it's 6-5, something's not right.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna say they're 7-4, and then let's see, 6. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so 7-4, going to Houston to play us. Oh,
W.
Lord, this is gonna be a fun season for the AFC South. Let me just tell you right now.
That's a win.
Whew.
They beat us.
It's in Houston?
Yeah, they beat
Yeah.
us in Houston.
So that's 8-4, going
I'm
to
waiting for it.
Jacksonville.
Drew's
That's
thinking.
9-4.
He's looking down smirking. He's gonna say, "Give me the Titans," and there's no way in the world. There ain't no way.
Tighten up! Give
No
them to me.
shot. No shot. No shot. There's
Will
no way.
Levis, is that that's not a prime time, is it?
No, it's not.
No, that's fine because
It's 12
if
o'clock.
it was, people would be very upset. Because Will Levis master class
Man, that's tough.
7-5.
That's a loss.
Yeah, for the Titans, you're saying.
Yeah, for the Titans, that's a loss.
No, for the
For the
Texans.
Houston's, that's
For
a
the
win.
Texans.
Shut up, Drew.
Let's go next week.
Yeah.
All right, so
Next.
me and Austin have them at 8-4, going to Jacksonville, and that's 9-4.
Yeah.
I'm not questioning that.
We ain't
at
gonna talk
all.
about it. We ain't gonna talk about Jacksonville. That's for them.
And then they go back home to play Miami. For
I think
Houston?
they lose that game. I don't think that. Look, I think
Interesting.
Houston's very good, but I can't. There's going to be games they slip up on, and I can't just give
Yeah,
them a
that's
win for all the games that seem like they're wins, which is exactly why I have them
Mhm.
splitting with the Titans. I just think
Except
also
for the
like
Jags.
that's crunch time, you know, like that's like you're getting close to like end of the season. Dolphins they're in a competitive division just like we are, and we're assuming everyone's healthy, right? We're assuming everybody's healthy. I think Dolphins. Shout out Jaden. I'll give you that
Or
win
at
right
least your
there.
key players.
I'll give you that win, Jaden. Go Dolphins.
Okay, so let's
Texans.
see, 9-5. I'm not even listening to Drew at this point. 9-5. Going to Arrowhead to play the Kansas City Chiefs.
W. It's a win.
I'll,
They'll beat them
I'll
in the
give
regular
win
season.
just because
They'll lose in the playoffs.
I'll give them the W here just because we don't know what
think-
this Chiefs wide receiver trio looks like.
I think I'm gonna agree. I do. Like, if this was a playoff game, it wouldn't be a
It's not even
choice
a
for me.
debate.
I don't think. But
Give me the Texans in the playoffs too.
yeah, so then they play. This is a weird one. Then they play Baltimore in Houston.
Oh
on
my
Netflix
goodness,
at
their
3:30
schedule's
in the
way
afternoon.
harder than ours. Oh
This
my
is
goodness,
wicked.
dude. They're
bro.
playing the
Like,
number
we
one
have a
team.
chance to win the division.
They're playing the number one team in like every single
Wait.
division.
So we have them. I think we have them 10. That's 10-5 going back home to play Baltimore.
Loss.
Dub.
Loss.
Yeah, that's an L.
Oh, it's a dub. What are you
I
talking
think
about?
Baltimore beats them in Houston.
Derrick Henry's fixing to go crazy.
Derek is gonna steamroll them. AFC South, bro.
All right.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying Lamar Jackson, throw the ball, I beg you.
Yep. RB1 Lamar Jackson. I mean,
They don't.
QB1.
They're not gonna need
QB1
to,
Lamar
buddy.
Jackson.
They're
All
not
right,
gonna
that's
need
fine.
to.
Let's go.
So
Derrick Henry's
I'm
gonna be fighting Lamar
I'm gonna say
Taking his
Derrick Henry
carries
might
from him.
put himself at quarterback for that
He's
game.
taking his carries from him.
So I'm saying
Derrick
I
Henry
don't
better
see
so
how
down
this
10 and
schedule
6
is going to
and you
work.
got 10 and 6, and you guys are gonna love this one because guess what? This game very well may be for the division. We got Texans Titans in Tennessee last game of the
Titans.
season.
Give it to me. Sweeping them.
Tighten up, tighten up.
I mean, it's Titans.
Say it,
man.
Austin.
It's Titans. Snead's going to put that pacifier in Stephon Diggs' mouth. That's just simply what's going to happen. He's going to rock him like a baby and give him some milk and send him to sleep. That's simply what's going to happen. And I'm here for it. I'm here for
Oh my
it.
gosh,
J.C.
bro.
Latham's taking a
That's
trip
10
down to
and
the
7.
local IHOP before that game. Pancake galore. Poor Will Anderson doesn't know what's going to hit him. He's going to get hit in the mouth a lot, over and over.
I mean, dude. So that means we have the Houston Texans at 10 and 7.
I have them 11 and 6.
So this division.
I'm being
is
very
up for
delusional.
grabs.
I'm being very delusional. I'm saying we're sweeping the Texans because I just want to believe it's going to happen.
I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say we can't.
And whenever it happens, I'm gonna pull this clip up. Whenever we run that episode after the season's done, and I'm gonna say, "That's what you get. Told you so."
I'm not ruling it out. I just don't think it's gonna happen.
It's all right.
This is my prediction, and we can kind of have some wrap up thoughts here. But I think Texans go anywhere from 10-7 to potentially maybe like 12-5. I think we ended up with 10-7 right there. You ended up with 11-6. We were kind of in the same boat for us for Tennessee. Yep. So this sounds like it's going to be a very fun AFC South season, barring any crazy injuries that really mess with any of the teams for that.
That's
matter.
what I was just about to say. I was like, take everything we say with a grain of salt because we're basically basing everything off no one getting hurt. And it's the NFL. It's
and
football.
That's why we have
People
the
are gonna get
potential,
hurt.
the very likely potential to be very wrong because it's football. People are going to get hurt. There's going to be people out. So
what happens.
We just don't know what's going to happen. But I'm excited. This is my kind of closing thoughts here. I'm excited. I think this division is very young, very good, and very well. I don't want to say very good yet. I think they're getting there, but they're very competitive and can scare a lot of people. And it kind of gave me more hope just now looking at how interesting and difficult their schedule could potentially be. So, I mean, it's just going to be one of those years that I think is going to be a lot of fun. And so, anyway, that's just where I'm at. I'm excited. I think this division's got a lot of really exciting. I mean, the Texans, golly, they got 3 or 4 primetime night games in a row, some big ones. So,
I mean, that's what happens whenever you win your division, you have a rookie offensive player of the year, and as your quarterback, that's that's that position that if you have a good quarterback, you're going to get primetime games.
Mm-hmm.
So, for my thoughts at least, other than the Jags, any other team in our division, I feel like is a team that anybody else in the whole league doesn't want to see in the playoffs. I feel like you don't want to play an AFC South team in the playoffs at all. Crazy. Overall, I think AFC South. I know you said it might take some time. I don't think it's taking any time. I think it's a year. I mean, the only thing that really has to happen is Will Levis have a good year.
I'm really saying that because I don't know that anybody from the AFC South is like going to win the Super Bowl this year. I'm not going to rule that out like it couldn't happen, but there's just too many guys that are right there to me, like Ravens, Bills, with Josh Allen's experience, Burrow, who's already
Ravens
been there,
are only going to take him as far as Lamar Jackson's arm can take him.
That's true,
and that's not very far.
But I mean, I just think that we're not quite above that next step yet.
Second best division in football. I think the AFC South is the second best division in football. I think the AFC North with the Steelers and Ravens and Bengals and Browns are the best division. I think second best right behind them. And it's not that far off. Like, I mean, truth be told, like the gap is not that big. Like you give it another year, quarterbacks stay healthy, they develop, like we're right up there competing like to be the toughest division in football, which is crazy to think. Like,
yeah, I mean, all like we said before, all young, rookie-esque style quarterbacks. Most of them going into year 2, other than obviously Trevor Lawrence. But yeah, man. I mean, honestly, I hope everybody stays healthy. I hope everybody plays well because that just the storylines for our division and it'll just bring back the rivalry in the AFC South that's been missing for the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Bro, I'm sitting here juiced right now.
Oh, I can't wait.
I'm excited. It's coming soon.
We are
4 weeks.
We are 2 weeks away. And people, listen,
we're like
if you're
40-something days away from the
exactly. Real let me just say,
that's crazy.
If you're listening, and we hope that you are, because we're going to keep doing this, no matter if we have 10 views or if we have 600 views, because we just enjoy being with each other and talking about football. But if you're listening right now, it's time to get excited. It really is. We're in the middle of training camp. We have a preseason game coming up in 2 weeks from today. Today is Saturday, the 27th, so you might not be hearing this on a Saturday, but 2 weeks away. We have a reason to watch preseason. We got draft picks we want to see. The starters are going to be playing some, so it is okay to get excited. I'm not saying we're going to go 12-5 and win the division, but it's now is the time to be excited. If there's there's no better time. So
I don't care if you're a Titans fan or not. We appreciate you listening. If you have put your team down in the comments. If you want us to break down your team, like schedule predictions, whatever it is, and we'll gladly do it. But we appreciate all of you tuning in and listening, and make sure you hit the like button, subscribe button, follow button on TikTok. We really do appreciate it. And like Kel said, 10 views, 100 views. We enjoy doing this. We're just football fans that enjoy talking about the game. And yeah,
man. Like you said, man, just hit that sub button, man. Looking at our analytics, 90% of you that are watching this right now are not subscribed. Just hit that button. It's free. You ain't got to pay for it. Hit that button. We'll be coming, like I said, once the season starts, definitely having weekly episodes out.
For sure.
Just right now, it's hard to do with, what's going on. But overall, fantastic episode. Looking forward to these next couple of weeks, seeing what's going to happen.
And let me just add in there, Drew, because you mentioned that. I think we haven't really talked about this yet, but after games, I think obviously what would be good is just like a post-game recap. And what we want this to be is as authentic as it is and has been up to this point. We want this to be a fan-based podcast. We're just fans. We don't, we're just watching what goes on in between the sticks from our point of view, and that's kind of where this podcast is coming from. So we're not expecting to be right about everything. We're not analysts. We're not this, but we've watched a lot of football. We like hanging out with each other. And you're just going to get our reaction, whether we're mad, we're happy, whatever. So it's going to be exciting, and these games are really going to give us a lot to talk about this year.
For sure, man. Tighten up. We'll see you on the next one.
Peace.